What's up, guys? I was just really into that. Every single time I get really into that song. I'm not even going to say anything. This one's just going to be a fun one. See you guys in a minute. It's Friday night, so you know what that means. Cheers, buddy. How are you?
Well, good.
Okay, so for anybody that's watching this that doesn't know, if you haven't gone back and watched, the egg cutting videos or whatever, that way. This is Nick.
It's screwing me up too. I just tried to fix my hat and I put it the wrong way.
It was super messing me up. So this is the other half, the less visible half of the Reptile Ward. I think we've done one of these, right at the beginning.
Yep.
That's what I thought. But that was also back when we had far less subscribers on here. So guys, this is going to be a bit different because a lot of the preset questions that I have, Nick can't really answer because they're about both of us. There's a few that I still am going to ask him. And we'll go right into one of those. But I want as many questions as possible from this one. I want this one to be very audience motivated and sort of focused. And I owe Tyler this from last time. Fucking sorry, buddy. I don't think he was watching last week, but that's okay. So anyway, we're going to go right into this. Mr. Nick. For yourself, because I've talked a lot about what I like, and I've obviously talked about how I wasn't into Pied, now I But you know, I don't really discuss the whole dynamic between the two of us and like Clown and Pied all that often. So why don't you tell people kind of the things you're looking forward to, not as a Reptile Ward answer, but as you personally, like with what we're doing, what are the animals you hope we're seeing in that amount of time?
The one thing that I'm the most excited about, and Chris is gonna have to correct me because I can never remember what it's head for, but we've had a confusion. What is he entirely? Confusion.
Oh, the pastel leopard yellow belly confusion, 50% het pied.
Yes. We've had him for I think almost a year and a half now. 2 years. And he barely ate. Barely ate. I think the entire time we had him, he maybe ate twice. And then out of the blue, decides to start eating again and is pounding food. So I'm really excited to see what we can do with that. I think Stranger and not Stranger, that's another thing I'm excited about. But I'll get to that in a second. I think Confusion and Pied is going to be something really cool. Just seeing it on its own, I think there's a lot of potential there.
So the Confusion Pieds on their own aren't anything crazy, but I do think you're onto something in that Confusion and Pied with other stuff added on. Like I have a feeling a Confusion Leopard Pied, you'll know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though leopard's usually not strong in Pied. But just as a memory device for you, if you ever can't remember what he is again, it's literally our Stranger, but take the Stranger away and put Confusion in.
Okay, that's even easier.
Yeah. So those that brings
me. That brings me to the next thing that I'm excited about in the next 3 to 5 years is the fact that our Stranger male is breeding for us and has gone to a couple very big, very exciting females that I don't think we've exactly talked about yet. So I won't let the cat.
We've posted each one of the locks because we are terrible and can't keep anything close to our chest. So we might as well just talk about them. So the first one that I thought of was the Pastel Hypo G stripe. And I was actually thinking about this earlier, Nick, and it hadn't even occurred to me, but if we make a Stranger male out of that pairing, we'll have a male Hypo Clown combo for our Hypo Clown project.
Yep.
It'll be head Hypo Posset Clown, but like a leopard Stranger head Hypo Posset Clown. That'd be pretty sick. We don't even need leopard. Our female's leopard. But either way, and then you and I obviously both landed on the GHI Krypton. That was always the plan for that animal.
Yep. And so thankfully he locked her and she's
the second she was ready, we were both in on that. And then
that giant clown girl I was just telling you about.
Yeah, the clown, of course. Those would be awesome.
Yeah, hoping to get a nice big clutch from her.
I feel like we put her to something. Oh, the banana clown too.
Yep. Yeah, I did one more.
Yeah.
And I guess too that kind of touches on the last thing I was going to mention, but just the sheer amount of cool double recessive projects we've got kicking off. It seems like everything I'm focusing on is next season because Chris seems to think more about the big picture things, and I seem to focus more on sort of where we're at now and maybe.
Great. I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna re-ask my question a different way to get the answer I'm looking for. So you just mentioned 3 projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 3 years, what is your goal animal from each of those projects? What would be the animal that made you feel like we did our job right?
So any sort of combo clown pied is going to be it because that's been the big thing for me.
No, so for each, so from the confusion, like that whole thing, from the Stranger, and then from each one of those things in 3 years, what would be the animal that you would hope to see? Not next year, a couple years down the line. We made ourselves some pets. We did that, whatever.
I would love to see an ODYB Exanthic clown pied, either VPI or if we get lucky and prove out our boy for being head TSK.
Well, man, that's a whole different fucking story. Fucking, we have VPI clown, and now we have potentially TSK Xanthic and our DG Pied stuff. And like, what's funny to me is that you were the Pied guy. You're the one that brought Pied into this whole conversation. Essentially, I didn't like Pied. I never liked Pied. I always thought it was like very overrated. And it wasn't until we started doing this and you started seeing what you liked and you started showing me, because obviously we weren't just going to go one direct, like we were going to go after what we both liked, that it started kind of occurring to me. But the fact that out of all those, you had 3 options there, and out of all of them, you didn't pick the DG Pied project and like potentially having a leopard yellow belly DG Pied in 3 years.
See, that's stuff
blows my mind, because that's
a lot of it.
That's top 3 for me easily now.
Because that's not here, like because we're doing the split pairing with Billy.
You have babies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those females we're growing up are going to be the ones that lay our eggs for those 3-year animals, right? So, and
actually, when we were talking about it, I completely forgot about the triple male too. So we just have, and that's the thing, we just have so much; it's hard to keep track of, and that's why it's hard for me.
One thing I don't really talk about a lot is the fact that Nick and I are really dumb, and we constantly seem to like. I need to preface this very carefully, because when I say forget, I don't want you to think we're forgetting about the animal itself. But we very often forget we have stuff. And trust me, they're still taken care of and fed. But I mean, in terms of like ideas for breeding projects, and we'll go like sometimes a week talking about something before one of us goes, oh my God, but we have this. Like, and we'll have like a week's worth of like, okay, then we'll do this, and then we'll switch it. Like, it's so bad. And neither one of us are very good at like record keeping. So
no, it was funny when we had the collection split. I would always forget what we had, like if we had an animal in the collection, and Chris would always assume the animals at my house were smaller than they were. Because I'd be like, yeah, we can start like ultrasounding this female. He's like, no, there's no way she's ready. And then she would come over and open the bin and be like, oh, yeah, okay, you're wrong. And then, I would just forget animals we have in the collection. So it's hard to kind of keep track. That's why I kind of only try to ever plan a year or 2 out with this.
It's funny because you're saying that kind of as a way to not answer the long-term question, but realistically, your answer is the right answer, because like, you and I know this fucking especially well. Every one of our seasons change by 1 or 2 purchases, and changes our entire potential next 1 to 3 years, right? If this past year hadn't happened, we wouldn't have that boy from Miguel. Who knows what we might be using? We would have bought something for the Clown Pie project, but like, who knows what the fuck it would have been, right? We might have just taken an offshoot from somebody as part of a larger purchase, just to have a male for our females in the event that they become ready. And now we're looking at ODYB leopard clown pied combos next year because we made that one purchase. Whereas earlier this year, come fucking February, if you told me that we had a shot at that next year, I would have laughed in your fucking face.
Like, another example too is the clutch we hit with all the asphalt pied males. Now we have our pied plants have pivoted pretty hard.
We literally have an army of asphalt pied males for ourselves.
And, it could be something as simple as like our stranger male starting to breed a little bit earlier for us than we had planned on. That kind of made a lot of changes for the latter half of this season and the beginning of next season. So it's kind of true. Like, you can't really, especially with this hobby, because it's changing so quickly.
Exactly. Because of how quickly things come out and how quickly 1 or 2 crazy animals can completely change the way people think about certain genes. If one person at the end of a season hits something insane from something, let's say it's like a cinnamon DG something, I don't know. All of a sudden, people that have that 1 or 2 cinnamon adult animals in their collection, this is at the end of a season, right? All of a sudden, they see that and they start thinking, oh shit, well, I was going to do this, that, and the other thing with these females. But now, maybe I'll do that. And it's as quick as that. You can see one YouTube video and go, oh shit, but what if I do this now? Right? And all your plans are out the window. And that's what it is. Like, you have to remain focused, and you have to have an idea of what you want to do, but you also always have to remain flexible.
Yeah.
Always.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Okay, Here we go. Oh, Mr. Tom, Timeless Morphs. What are your thoughts on chocolate and spider being allelic? Spoke to a breeder at NARBC and they mentioned it because we got a GHI pos chocolate that came from a spider chocolate female. So if spider or chocolate and spot nose is allelic, that means it would be allelic with spider also.
Yeah.
So that would mean your GHI is chocolate.
Chris does.
100% me. Yeah. Like 100%. And like Nick, like we're both big guys. Like big guys, but I got a big head.
Yeah. See, I can
like
wear.
Nick is wearing a hat. That should just show you.
Yeah. Because I can wear like a fitted hat, and I think I'm at 7 3/4. I don't think there's a fitted hat that would fit Chris's head. I have found one hat in my whole life that fit my head. Yeah. It's that Tiger Cat's cat that cap that might.
And then I destroyed that in Mexico because it was so hot.
Yeah.
So now I need another one. I need to know where fucking Watson got that. Fuck. I was going to ask you a question. I totally got sidetracked. Okay, let's move on to something else then. Okay, Nick. Oh, why did that not switch? That wasn't cool. What was your first big disappointment or letdown?
It was probably, and it was pretty recent, but we had a really bad run of luck where we had a few animals die. It wasn't anything we did wrong. It was just one animal looked bad whenever we ultrasound her. It looked like there was a mass inside of her. So we were sort of preparing for her to pass. Another one seemingly got sick during the course of the move, passed away. We'd been working him pretty hard as well. We had a few hatchlings go down. So that was kind of the first big oh shit moment for me with this, because we, again, knock on wood.
Hold on, Nick, just before you continue, and I'll let you finish. But when he says had a couple hatchlings go down, like basically they were just animals that didn't thrive. They didn't just like up and die randomly. They already weren't doing well. And then we've also had a few animals this year crawl out of the egg alive and then be dead before shed. So it's been a rough run of luck with babies, and that we can talk about the whole hatchling thing in a minute. But continue what you're saying. Sorry.
But yeah, that was the first big moment for me, because we'd been really lucky our first few seasons where we hadn't really lost an. If we did lose an animal, it was something we sort of saw coming, or if it was a hatchling that wasn't viable out of the egg. So honestly, I think before this season we maybe lost, Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, 3 animals in the entire time we've been doing it. And that probably quadrupled this season in a very short span of time.
But the thing is too, though, Nick, you've also been, because we've been growing the way we've been growing, it doesn't seem like a substantial amount more to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like we have a few more animals than we did this time last year. You know what I mean? Like, we've grown a bit. But truth is, it's a lot. And then also on top of that, 2020, we had a very light season for how many animals we had breeding. And then come 2021, we had more animals breeding and we had a normal season, right?
Yep.
So we probably had a 50% to 60% increase.
Yep.
And that coupled with the fact that last year we just happened to have a very good year for like nothing was stillborn, nothing crawled out and died, stuff like that. You know what? You're going to have, unfortunately, a couple of those a season anyway. We got it heavy this year, plus a heavier load in terms of breeding. Yep. And then last year just happened to be light comparatively as well, right? So it sucks. And you know what? We did have a couple that definitely weren't just like, oh no, like the fucking Pied Clutch. Anybody from our Discord was part of... my cat's just knocked over an entire fucking bowl of food. Great.
Was that the new one? Or?
What's that? No, that was Rem. Just
okay. Of course. I figured he was going to so.
Anyway, anybody that was part of our, well, not anybody, but a good chunk of people that were part of our Discord got to bear witness to us cutting what at the time was our most anticipated clutch of this season, and probably still would have been had it turned out decently. So it was a banana ODYB Enchi pied to a pastel het ready xanthic pied. And our male had only bred a couple females at that point. The first clutch, we only hit one pied out of 6 eggs. The second clutch, we got one pied out of 3 eggs. And this was like our last clutch from this male because he was young when we started breeding him last year. This year will be different because, you know, he's much older. He's eating, breeding like a fucking fiend. Did you pair him today?
No, I didn't do any of the pairings yet.
Okay, that's fine. I can come over tomorrow afternoon, evening-ish anyway. I was going to talk to you anyway. Fuck, what was I going to say? I got off track. Oh, banana. So, we have 9 eggs from this beautiful pastel HRA pied female. Everything guaranteed pied. Was it 9 eggs? No. It was 7?
Yeah, I think it was 7.
Yeah, because 2 went bad, and then we had 5 eggs that we cut, and then it went downhill from there, right? Okay, so basically, we had 7 eggs. 2 died like a week before we were going to cut the eggs. And then we cut the other 5, and all the eggs had like the yolk, not the yolk, the embryonic fluid. I don't know why that word escaped me. Had a green tint, and I've only ever heard bad things about that. So 2 of the babies.
It was 8.
What's that?
It was 8. According to Jay.
Oh.
Wow, my hands are so pale that it just blows out the camera.
I didn't know Jay was even here. That's fucking perfect. Okay, well, either way, so we ended up with 5 at the end. So I guess that means 3 went bad right before. So we cut, and we got what we thought. We just blew the odds out of the water. Like, we hit the exact animal Nick and I wanted, which was a pastel Enchi ODYB pied, which would have been a female because our banana was a male maker. And like, we were just over the moon. And then cut another egg, and there's an Enchi ODYB pied, which is also going to be a female. Just losing our minds, super stoked. Cut a couple of the other eggs, and we see like very obvious combo banana pies. And Jay, who we were doing the breeding loan with for the clutch, that's what she wanted. She wanted a combo banana pied male for herself for breeding. So we had covered all our bases. We were just thrilled. Unfortunately, the pastel Enchi ODYB pied and the Enchi ODYB pied didn't. They were stillborn. They were dead. And the other 3 crawled out, and they all had really, really bad shark mouth. And 1 unfortunately died very quickly. The other 2, we, assist fed them for months and months and months. That run of luck that Nick was just talking about hatchlings, like animals passing away, that includes one of these animals. 1 did phenomenally the entire time. It didn't gain a lot of weight, but it always ate, and it didn't look bad. It was
the most active by far.
It wouldn't get bigger, right? So the 1 unfortunately passed, and we were left with what I think, if I have to guess, is a banana, pastel banana, thick, orange dream, yellow belly pied male. So we asked Jay to come pick him up because she breeds her own rats, and she has access to better sizing because she breeds her own rats. And honestly, this animal was her animal. I had already promised her, should, the shark mouth baby survive, you can take this one. And we got insanely lucky. Jay came and picked this animal up, and it's actually now not only doing just as well as it was before, but it's actually starting to gain weight because Jay actually has access to rat pinks pups like at the exact size that this animal needs, versus us being subject to whatever we get from our supplier, which meant sometimes some weeks we couldn't even feed the animal because we didn't have anything small enough, right? So that clutch was a monumental letdown. With that 1 shining, tiny little example of greatness. And, we're all praying that last animal pulls through. But fuck, that one sucked.
Yep. That one was bad. We had another one similar to that right after. And that was the one where we had the baby that's the top part of its jaw. Or was that the same clutch? The one that almost had the reverse shark mouth.
That was no, that was the leopard desert ghost that pied to the ivory.
Okay.
Because that was our other female, remember?
Yes.
So yeah, we basically got an animal that was so deformed. It had a reverse shark mouth. So its bottom jaw not only was fully formed, but it was extended out a little extra. So it looked like an alligator lower jaw, but then its face, and I'm smiling, but this actually really, really upset me. But its face basically formed up to the eyes and then just stopped.
Yeah.
And then its jaw was also wrenched down, like it was almost like connected to its throat. It was sad. That one was really, really sad. And unfortunately too, that was another leopard yellow belly het DG 50% het pied female. Fuck. Yeah, it's been a tough year, sure.
Yeah, that definitely was the first big hit for me.
Okay, well, let's stop talking about fucking bummy stuff. And
yeah.
This is a fun question.
Oh yeah, this is a fun story. This was almost 4 years ago now.
It was before I got married, so it would have been over 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah. Chris had just started volunteering at Billy's, and they were having a busy week. Billy was looking for more help, so Chris threw it up in our friends group chat. Hey, anybody willing to come in on a Saturday? Whatever. We would build up credit with Billy. So whatever credit you build up, I'll just take, and I'll pay you in a case of beer or a bottle of whiskey, whatever you want. So I didn't have anything going on that weekend. I volunteered to go, thinking that it was going to be a one-time thing, and just kept going. And then I think about a month or two after I went, thinking that I was just going to work there long enough to build enough credit up to get a pied, some sort of pied. I just wanted a pied. Chris, there was an opportunity to buy an ARS rack, and Chris was kind of humming and hawing over it. And I was sitting there, I'm like, you know what? I'm really enjoying this. Why don't we do something with this? Because Chris had just started getting back into breeding as well. He was only really going to do it. I think you weren't planning to really do it the once, or just kind of on a small scale.
I was only going to breed a couple females. I only had, I think, 3 females. And I had bought 1 male from Billy, but I was like, you know what? I enjoy this. I like just being at Billy's place, being around these type of people, and his amazing facility. So, I had bought the banana pastel butter pin male that Jay ended up using. That's how I got to Billy's. But yeah, I think I was only planning on breeding the 1 year because I was interested in showing Sierra, my ex-wife, how all that happened, because I did it a long time ago, and that's a whole different story. Continue yours.
Billy had the rack available. Chris was humming and hawing over. I'm like, I'll split on it with you if you want to get back into this. And then one thing led to another, and now we have 200 animals.
And it's super funny too, because it was actually in the middle of us talking about buying this rack. Not before we started talking about it. We had been talking about it for a good 10, 15 minutes. Before we realized that we were talking about starting a business together.
Yeah.
And that's literally how all this happened. That's how this was born. We both just went, are we doing this? I guess we're doing this. Yeah. And then we were just doing it.
Yep. And then once that ball started rolling, it just kept picking up steam. And we got really lucky at the beginning. And I don't know if the first big kind of package we got for the animals that were included with it, we definitely didn't pay for fully. I don't want to make it sound like we sold them, but it was people kind of getting out of the hobby, or were sort of in a position where they needed cash quickly. We were just in the right place at the right time with the right amount of
money. I'm a good negotiator, and the price was right to begin with. Just know that much.
Yeah. So that's definitely kind of how this all just kept building up momentum to the point in time we are now.
Is that Freeway the only animal? No, we have the ivory still. Never mind.
We have the ivory. The Freeway and the ivory are the only 2 that we have left. Because
wasn't it the same day? Once we had the rack,
yes.
Isn't that when we started talking about buying that package?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, we have the Etchy Ashfall female still.
Oh, we do. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Wow, she was a slow fucking grower.
Yeah, that's why I think we forgot about her, because she did not eat for like a year and a half, and then now it's finally.
Now we can make Super Inch and Super Asphalt het pies next year.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. And our little tiny freeway that we got at I think he was 68 grams. We thought it was female
freeway.
Yeah. For I think the guy
shark mouth, he was like 50 grams.
It was tiny. We brought it to Billy's, and Billy's like, I can try, but I think it's gonna die. And then assist fed it a few times. It started eating.
He didn't even end up. No, Billy didn't even assist it. He just fed it, and it started taking right away.
Yeah, and now it's alive and in the racks. And we thought it was this stunted female for the longest time, because when Chris, whenever he would pop it, he couldn't see anything. Well, it went on a bit of an even.
I only popped it the one time when we first got it, and I never thought anything of it because it was kind of wonky anyway.
So decided to pop it one day, and sure enough, our tiny little dwarf female is a male. So kind of makes more sense. But it's the wonkiest ball python you'll ever see. Like, I've never seen him ball up. When he goes to wrap a rat, he like barely gets it. He's a special case, but I'm glad we have him.
This is a good question for you, Nick. What? Hold on. I have to read it out loud. I get in trouble for it every time I don't do it.
That's true.
What is the reason you do this?
Well, I've always sort of wanted to own my own business in some capacity. It's something my grandfather did, who I'm actually named after. My dad always kind of pushed me in that direction. And right before we did this, I had come into a decent sum of money that I wanted to do something with. Like, I wanted to invest in it. I wanted to, but not in a way that I had before, where it's sort of, you give it to somebody, it's invested in mutual funds, stock market, whatever it is, and it's kind of out of your hands. I wanted something I could be hands-on with. So when this came up, it was the perfect opportunity. I've also always wanted to work with animals. If you've met me in person, I'm a vegetarian. I'm Bleeding Heart's animal rights person. So this seemed like the perfect opportunity to work with animals that are kind of seen as like for lack of a better term, vermin or animals you don't really want to associate yourself with. So to sort of educate people, work with them, and then especially when I'm bouncing all over the place here, but I started working with the geckos, like the New Caledonian species of geckos, and reading about conservating them and how they are doing better in captivity than they are in the wild was a big thing for me.
And that's another thing that, we can touch on for a bit. So you have Rhacodactylus, right?
Yep.
Why don't you tell everybody what you have and what you're doing? Because I think that's kind of unique. I've mentioned it a few times on here, just when stuff like this is brought up. But yeah, it's probably better if you just say it.
It was funny because it started out as me going and buying up all of the orphan or like animals that other breeders would have culled in some cases. So I started off with a lychee who had dropped its tail and fell in love with keeping her. And then the next show I went to ended up with a chihuahua who had a kinked tail. And it seems like there's some other things a little bit off with him. Like, he's a little small for his age. It just seems like there's something maybe genetically off with him.
And just interject really quickly. Guys, if you ever see one physical deformity with an animal, chances are there are other deformities within the animal. Deformities usually beget more.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Continue. Sorry.
When I was no worries. When I was looking into that and trying to researching the reasons why that might be the case, I started learning more about the benefits of hybridization when it comes to certain species of geckos, which I know is a controversial thing. But
who cares?
Exactly. And especially with species like this, which are located in such a small area in the world, like the bloodline is going to be very small anyway, and the likelihood of them interbreeding in the wild is extremely high anyway. So who's to say that the chihuahuas we have now or the cresties we have now are what they actually look like, and they're not hybrids in themselves. So started thinking about that, started really getting the idea of hybridization. So I ended up buying.
I actually really like that.
Thank you.
Continue. Sorry.
started. So I bought this. Chris can attest, this gigantic Chewy male who I was hoping to eventually try to pair with my Lychee, but she's gotten way too big, so I'm gonna have to probably pivot from that. Chewy male and a couple of younger cresty females, and before I was actually able to get them to breed, one of my cresties was just constantly dropping like very viable, very good looking Partho eggs. So I was incubating them, and usually they would get almost to term and then die. But the last time I was going to try it, I had one fully survive. So I've got she's getting pretty big now. Like I need to move into a bigger enclosure, but she's about a year and a half old now, or about a year, maybe a little bit over a year. Female, or probably female because she's Partho, Cresty. And then right after that, when I put my male back in, he mounted both of them, and I ended up getting 4 eggs. 2 of them survived to hatching, and I have 2 crested Chihuahua hybrids. One of them, it's really cool, and I need to start getting better pictures of them now that they're bigger, and I'm not terrified they're going to disappear on me.
Now that you'll have a better phone.
Yeah, better phone, better lighting. One of them has the Chihuahua structure. So big, long tail, longer snout, a bit of a narrower head, but crest and the crestier pattern, like cresty patterning. And the other one has the cresty structure, but no crest and a Chihuahua patterning. And they both have big tails. It's really, really cool. So it's definitely something I want to...
They're really, really cool. Like, they're really unique animals to look at, but they're still pretty small because, like, hybrids, you know, they're not super viable sometimes. But I'm very excited to see what those animals look like when they're adults.
Yeah, they're finally starting to pack on some size, and you can really see them. So you'll do
you know what I mean? No, I want to see them like when they're adults, and both of them like fired up versus fired down, because they're both half cresties, so they'll do that. Like, oh man, it'll be so cool. It'll be such a neat thing to see. Yeah, we have some chat questions though.
Mm-hmm.
From Jay.
Okay.
How do you guys like having all your snakes in one place? And what snake did the other have that you completely forgot about? I'll let you answer first, and then I'll follow you.
I love it. I know Chris doesn't love it because I'm the one who has all the snakes here and gets to interact with them on like throughout the day. And
I fucking hate it.
The funniest thing, so this is a kind of a side note, but it's along the same lines. The first time that Chris was away for snakes crawling out of the egg was the last clutch that we hit, and it's probably one of the coolest clutches that we had. The one that we hit our dream female. We don't know exactly what she is. It looks like there's definitely something more than just lavender and pine going on with her. Our black pastel, probably pastel dreamsicle, the crazy BP pastel lab male that we hit, and then
the male's black pewter for sure. It's possibly yellow belly.
That's and then
black pewter dream, possibly yellow belly.
Bumble belly double het that we hit as well. We're the first one he was gone for. So every 5 minutes in Mexico, did they shed yet? Which one's crawled out? I need a picture. Like, can you show me the picture? So it was funny, but I personally love it. And the one that I would always forget about were our breeder males. Not one in particular, but which breeder males we'd have, I would always forget about, because there'd be one.
You'd always forget about like one, but like a big one.
Yeah. For a while, it was our yellow ODYB spot nose clown that we got from Will.
Can't really call him OD yet. We got to prove it. But he's a spot nose yellow belly clown, 50% het BPI, that we are now starting to think is also OD based on some of the animals he created, because like those pinstripe clowns and then some clowns before that don't look right for what they should be.
Yeah, OD was in the pairing too, so it is possible.
And
it's not like we're just pulling this out of thin air. Trying to think of other ones that I would forget about. Oh, it was funny because she started out
constantly.
Yeah, and the other big one, which is funny, she started out here at my place, and I got her eating, but was our VPI het clown female. As soon as you took her to your place, I completely forgot about her.
Which is funny because she's going to be our first clutch of next year, and that's going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, we are currently watching for eggs for her. I checked right before I popped in here.
Perfect. So. Okay, so I already answered the first half of this question. I fucking hate it. It's really weird, and it actually really fucked me up for a while. And actually, like, talking about it out loud right now is the first time I've kind of addressed it even to myself. But it made me super depressed because that was my thing, right? Like that's if I was ever in a bad mood or something was pissing me off, that was what I would do. I'd go check snakes, clean, check this, check that, maybe turn on the ultrasound. That's how I would calm down. And now that I don't have that, like it was actually really hard. I don't know if you obviously noticed, but like right after I brought them over, there was like a 2-week period where like I basically just didn't come. Like it was just, oh man, like it was a hard adjustment. But that all said, my personal feelings about having direct access to the snakes aside, it's actually amazing. It's really cool to be able to be all in the same place. All of our rats show up to the same fucking place.
Yeah.
If this doesn't eat, I can feed something that would have been at Nick's place. If this,
I think it
ideally,
yeah,
what we needed. It's exactly what we needed to move on, to step up. But fuck, did it suck?
Yeah, and I think the big light bulb going off for how much better it is for me, and I don't know if this is the case for you, but when we were first doing our big pairing, and we were both in the room, and we're like, okay, who should we do this? Do we put a male in with one snake? Look over there, be like, oh shit, no, we should put it in here. Like it was
it was overwhelming almost. You're like,
yeah.
Oh, but wait, but what about? Oh shit, but then oh fuck, but what about like? It was that was actually pretty cool to see all of it. And to see how many like cool options we had, like that was really neat.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
And then what snake did the other have that you completely forgot about? The spot nose yellow belly Posset Dream, my favorite snake in our goddamn collection. I would forget that we had it, and then I would go to Nick's house, open them in, and be like, "What the fuck?" Like every time.
Then, the one that he always assumed was like 800, like was always 500 grams. Was regardless of how long it had been since he saw it, this snake was always 500 grams. Was our Enchi yellow belly Posset Monsoon.
Yep,
who's a monster now and is in.
Which is funny because she was a terrible eater for so long.
Yeah.
So now I open the bin and go, what the like? Who's this? And Nick's like, that's Posset Monsoon. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. That was always the one that was just. It was always 500 grams.
It's no the spot nose yellow belly though. That one is always the one that makes me laugh because it like if I had to pick one animal to say like, hey, what is your favorite? Like, if you had to pick one animal that represents what it is the best, do you know what I mean? Like, regardless of what the combo is, it represents that combo the best. Mm-hmm. That spot nose yellow belly Posset Dream is the animal I'm picking.
She's crazy.
The highest class example of both genes. It's nuts.
And we're going to be moving into the outer rack too soon, which is going to be exciting.
Fuck yeah. Well, I'm kind of annoyed at that. Like, I love her so much, but at the same time, I don't want to hit a spot nose dreamsicle because it would be mostly white.
But just look at how cool our.
That's another yellow belly possible het dreamsicle female we have, Nick. I never even realized that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think we put the one of the asphalt pipes are instead.
Yep, that's exactly what I was just thinking.
Guys, you're seeing how we plan our life. Like it just like literally in the middle of a conversation, we go, "What about this?" And we go, "Yes." Yep. That's how we do it. I totally lost my train of thought there. I got very excited. Do I have any more? Oh, okay. So, we're not keeping this one super long, guys. Probably going to go about an hour. I haven't eaten.
But I've got a bunch of school stuff I have to do as well. So,
but this one should be fun. Everybody knows my answer. Nick, if you could remove one gene from the entire hobby, everybody, nobody's exempt.
I have
an
interesting answer. Okay.
Hold on. I don't think you watch these very often, so I have to explain the rules.
Okay.
What would that gene be? And would that answer change if it was restricted to our collection? And here's the ground rules for this. The gene you pick just up and disappears. The animals do not. They just lose the gene. So if you pick fire, every vanilla cream becomes a vanilla. Every single gene fire becomes a normal. Every fire clown becomes a clown. Every fire pied becomes a pied, etc. but they all gone. Everybody's is gone.
I think there's only one breeder I'm going to really screw over with my answer.
Is it us? Please don't say us.
No, we only have one animal with this gene. And it's not because I dislike the gene, and it's not because I think
Did I accidentally start something, Nick? Please don't fucking like start an internet war with somebody.
No. I might, but me and you've never shied away from this stuff. And I think you'll probably agree with me. We haven't actually talked about this.
No, I'm actually not worried. Fucking say what you're going to say.
It's scaleless and scaleless head because of all of the discourse.
Scaleless head is scaleless, yeah.
Because of all of the discourse around it. Because of all of the bullshit. And
you're screwing over more than one breeder, buddy.
I was thinking about
more than one big guy, too.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Dan Allison mainly because he was so cool.
Yeah, I feel really bad for Dan.
But it's not because
Earl. I love Earl.
Yeah, and it's not because I think there's a problem. I've seen adult scaleless heads in person. Me and Chris have documented follicles in a scaleless head female. It's just all of the bullshit that comes when you say anything about those genes or about that gene, and it's worse than Spider. Spider was sort of like that. But enough people have sort of.
I wouldn't say it's worse. Spider is the problem with Spider is it's fact blown into fiction, right? So they take something that exists, the wobble, and they blow it up into this thing that it isn't, right? And it's just basically an exaggerated idea that this poor creature that can't even function should be bred. It's bullshit, right? The scaleless thing is a whole different story, though, because that's a lot of like rumor, hearsay, this, that, all. You know what I mean? Like, there's no factual proof. But the weird thing is, if you are looking at it logistically, and you look at other breeds of snakes that have fully scaleless variants, there is not one out there so far that I believe has been proven to be infertile.
Yeah. Well, just even look at the way they discovered the scaleless garter snake. Like, if I'm remembering the story, I can't remember who it was that discovered it, but there was some sort of snake keeper who was golfing, hit a ball into the roughage, saw a snake, like a garter snake that looked off, caught it, and it was a wild caught scaleless garter snake. So if that wasn't, if there wasn't two animals out there carrying those genes, and who's to say one of them was not fully scaleless, how did that snake get created? And that's in the wild. That's with no human intervention.
It's funny too, because like I agree with you to an extent. I like scaleless. That's the problem. And you know that. And we've talked about this a lot. We have a scaleless head animal.
Yep. And I love it.
But honestly, if you were to say that, I wouldn't be upset at you, because if that animal wasn't scaleless head all of a sudden, oh no, we just have a pastel yellow belly adult breeder female. Like, oh no. What are we going to do with that? No, it's just like, I still have that desire to make one scaleless in my life. I just want to have it. I want to make it for me to keep as a pet. I want it to be a boy. So I can.
Well, just seeing how cool the one is at Mordex when we go up there. It's one of my favorite animals to check out. Yeah. Like,
but their so scaleless animals are amazing. Like, both of those come from Dan Allison, Constriction Addiction. So, you know, like, actually, big shout out to him. Like, when Nick said he was only going to screw over one person, I think he more so meant one person that like would personally affect us, because we both really like him as a person. He's a great dude.
He was great to us when we met him.
But I'm conflicted right now, because, like, do I just not bother to make a scaleless, or do I just wait? Like, if I wait 5 years, what kind of shit can I pick up for pennies just to make my own really cool scaleless to keep? And then move on with it, right?
Because everything's shifting too, right? Because at first they thought scalers couldn't have heat pits, and now they're figuring out that if they have a certain threshold of scales, they'll still develop the heat pits. So
no, the thing is,
it's changed again.
The heat pits are there anyway. The thing is, the heat pits are actually the skin, right? So they actually still have the heat pits regardless. They can still sense it. It's just not as directed. It's a little more abstract, but they can still find their food.
Yeah.
And that's really, at the end of the day, all that really matters.
The last time I looked into it, they were figuring out that I think it was like the 25% and up we're better for it. But again, I haven't looked into it in some time.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know.
But yeah, that's the
I honestly wouldn't be upset if Scaleless just up and poofed out of the ball python hobby tomorrow. Like, I might get a little butt hurt once in a while, just thinking about like, oh fuck, I could have done this, but no. You know what? Like, that's a good answer. I feel like people that jump to spider, I feel like that's a real easy throwaway, and I feel like my answer of lesser is a very easy throwaway. But I have a good reason. We have so much. I just want it gone, and I want to be a selfish prick. I don't care about what everyone else is doing. Give me what I want.
The one thing I will say is, ever since we set our policy about no more purchasing lesser animals, we've only bought one, and it was a really cool clown combo. So we did good. It's a butter lesser Sydney clown.
Oh right, yeah, the one we've never used.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's eating now though.
What is your feed schedule for your adults and hatchlings? So we actually feed everything once a week. I would like to be able to feed our hatchlings more often, but we have to rely on rat supply. So yeah, everything eats once a week. It's on Mondays or I guess Tuesdays now. But yeah, so we feed on Tuesdays, I guess, all of a sudden, even though they didn't give me any notice. And yeah, everything eats on Tuesdays. Or, if they don't give us enough rats, some of the stuff will eat Wednesday, Thursday if we have to thaw out some frozen thawed or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, you know what? And neither one of us are too super attached to a date either. Like sometimes I'll be working late or Nick will be busy with school and we'll just say, hey, you know what? The rats came in. We'll just leave them somewhere nice and cool for the night and we'll feed off tomorrow. And I think that's actually really important for a collection.
Yep.
I don't think a set schedule helps anything. I also don't think set sizes help anything. I think I've talked about this before, but don't be afraid to throw your adult female a wean once in a while and then not give her food for 2 weeks. I genuinely believe that actually helps them because I think that's what they are accustomed to in the wild. You're not going to find a small to medium-sized rat every 7 days.
No.
In the sub-Saharan section of Africa they reside.
And the snake's not also gonna look at a rat and be like, unless it's obviously way too big for it to consume, it's not gonna be like, oh, I need to measure you by my body. You're too big. I can't eat you. I'll try you again in a couple months. No, it's gonna strike it and try to get it down. So the big thing, me and Chris it's sort of our approach to everything is we let the animals tell us. We don't try to set any. Oh, this is what this thing says about this. If we ultrasound a female and she's a year and a half old and she's building, we'll pair her. If we have a male and he's 8 months old and he's producing, we'll pair it. If I have if we have a snake that is eating well and we toss this week we offered two of our apple pie hatchlings weans. Was it maybe earlier than other breeders did it? Yeah. Did they take it? Yeah.
Are we going to do it again next week? No. You give them a week off. You let them adjust, but it happens.
Yep. You let the animal tell you.
I was just about to say something, and you totally – not you. I totally forgot. Ah, crap. That sucks. Oh, well.
But yeah, that's been our approach to everything is we let the animal tell us.
Oh, and you know what? That also comes to breeding and stuff too. If I have a smaller female and she goes off food and she's bull wrapping and she's only 1,400 grams, I'm going to ultrasound that animal. If that animal is building, I'm going to breed it for multiple reasons. One, because I have bred smaller animals in the past, and all that has done has made them go on the next year to be substantially bigger than they were before they were bred. Plus, you get potentially babies out of it, right? I've never actually had an issue breeding a small female. And when I say small, I'm not going to say I'm trying to ultrasound animals at 900 grams, but when they hit 1,500, well, it wasn't even ultrasounding. Like, I was doing this by eye and by palpating.
Yeah, up until last year.
1250, 1350, 1450. But if the females are 2.5, 3 years old and they were just slow growers, like 1250, that's a healthy body size for a 3-year-old animal in most cases. And you know what? Yeah. Like Nick and I have bred them at that size. And you know what? It works out. I've never had a problem. That said,
prime example.
If you have an animal that hits 1,200 grams in 10 months, don't fucking put a male to it. No, don't do that. You definitely have to know your animals. Like, I wouldn't pair a male to that female if I hadn't spent 2 years watching her grow and knowing her mannerisms and all that bullshit, right? Like, I would not do that. Hold on one sec, Nick. Don't worry so much about your schedules, guys. Don't worry about fucking pairing on Wednesdays and sometimes it's good to fucking pair your animals the day before they're supposed to be fed and let those two animals skip a week. Like,
something me and Chris also do is take weeks off. Like, we will take a week off from feeding the collection.
We should do that this week, by the way.
Yeah. I'll message them tomorrow then.
Yeah, for both of us.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll feed the hatchlings. We'll feed the small stuff, but all of our big girls and our girls, we'll just give the week off.
And when he says big, he means anything over basically 150 grams. Just you're not fed this week. And you know what? It's done nothing but help us.
Yep. It's been great. And then we also have our little tricks. But before I get too far away from this and forget about it, a prime example of what we were talking about before is the asphalt pie clutch we had this year. Like, the female we had. Yeah. Exactly.
Keep going. Yep.
The female we paired, so we bought her as a cinnamon pie or normal pie from a dude. Was told that she was a couple years old, but she was tiny. Oh, there's the new girl. She's probably going to end up living with me. More than likely. Just so adorable.
Oh my god!
You have this ability.
Is that picking up?
Mm-hmm. I could hear it at least. Ever since you moved into your new place,
so just small, man. Bye.
Just a magnet for your adorable cats.
Sorry, she came up.
So no worries. So we females, we were told that she was a couple years old, but she was small. So we were ultrasounding Chris on a whim because we were sure that she wasn't going to pair because she'd been an iffy eater. Like, you know what? I'll check her. And she was to the point in time where we had to get a male in with her right away.
Which one was that one? Sorry?
The Cindy, the former Cindy Pied.
Oh, right. Yes.
Paired her, got one good lock from our asphalt het pied male. And she asphalt het pied male, sorry. Got the job done. She laid us 4 good eggs. Oh, no, it was more than that. It was 6 good eggs. 1 went bad. Or was it 7?
Yeah, only 1 went bad in that one. It went bad late.
Yeah.
Right.
So we had 7 eggs. We ended up with 6 at term. Got 3 visual Enchi or 1 Enchi asphalt pied, and then 2 probable Enchi asphalt pieds. There might be another gene floating around there. Like we thought mom was cinnamon after. Sorry.
1 Enchi asphalt pied.
Yeah, 1 Enchi asphalt pied.
2 for sure asphalt pied.
Yes,
but then there's also probably something else, is what Nick was trying.
We're not sure. We're almost positive it isn't cinnamon. I think it might be Java, which would be really cool. So we're gonna probably repeat the pairing next year to see what kind of happens. If not, use one of the visual males. But yeah, we wouldn't have had that pairing if we hadn't done that. And now mom is probably doubled in size since she laid. Like, she's one of our best eaters.
Yeah, so she was like hanging out like what 1,400 grams ish.
Yep.
And then so we paired her up. We got that clutch. Oh no, you did all that. That was Nick hasn't mentioned it, but that was Nick's first all Nick clutch, right? So Nick went out, found the female, bought the female, made sure she was fed, cleaned, all that kind of shit. Paired her when I said so. That was that was Nick's first clutch that came because of Nick's calls. So just so everybody's aware, that was a big First of all, it was a huge clutch for us. That was amazing. And then also on top of that, it was your
it was a big milestone
you've ever basically created on your own.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, that we wouldn't have had that if we didn't make that call. So yeah, you let the animal. That's always been my mentality. Is you let the animal tell you.
I think I had one more question. And guys, we're at about an hour. So if anybody has any questions, drop them in the chat. Can't ask you what the origin of your business name is.
It's your last name. Oh, pin stuff.
So I made a post. And I don't know if you saw it because I deleted it pretty quickly, but I accidentally posted up the pewter pin, possibly yellow belly clown male.
Yeah.
And I called it the het female. And I mentioned how it might be available because we hadn't decided what we're doing with that het female yet. And a lot of people wanted it. And then I realized I posted the male.
I saw both posts. Well, it was funny because I saw it, I think, right before you pulled it down, and then I saw the correct post. Yeah, there's no way.
Oh, yeah, I guess you probably get notifications when people fucking tag us and shit, right? Yeah, fuck. Yeah. So all of a sudden, I just got inundated with like, oh, you guys letting any of that ping clown stuff go? Like I probably got like 50 messages that morning. Fuck.
That male, you're gonna have to pry from his cold dead hands. So that's
that whole fucking clutch. Fuck everybody. That is my pride and joy, guys. Like most people have babies. I have that pin clutch. Like fuck all of you. That's mine. Like I'm gonna sit here and love them forever. I might like that pewter pen Congo though. Then again, would it be smart to keep him just in case he's yellow belly and sell the lithium pastel clown instead?
Okay.
Nick, we have like 15 clown males.
How did this happen?
We need to stop. So apparently the pewter pin, possibly yellow belly clown, might be on Morph Market soon. Keep your eyes peeled.
Stay tuned.
So it seems like we are pretty tapped out for questions. Whoever is watching is not very talkative. And I'm fucking starving. Yeah. So, Nick, is there anything else that you want to talk about on this? Is there anything you want to bring up? Maybe anything you want to mention? Anything cool that's happened recently that I haven't?
Not really.
Thank you. Hold on. Thank you. I cannot explain how bad the pictures are of these animals. They are so cool in person. I'm really hoping the new phone that I get helps. I think it will. Fuck. Anyway, Nick. Sorry. Anything?
I don't think it's anything we're really ready to talk about yet. It's a couple of things that me and you are kind of talking about, like kind of plans for the future clutches. There's two clutches that we've posted locks for that we're really close to potentially getting that I'm pretty excited about. It's actually technically it's not the best odds. It's pretty long shot odds, but our first shot at Compides is going to be one of our first clutches next season. And I'm pretty excited about that. And then one of my sort of pet projects in our collection has been this Phantom Pied girl that we've had for I think 3 years now.
I bought you, and she still hasn't done shit.
And she's the weirdest eater on the planet. Some weeks she wants a regular rat, some weeks she wants an ASF. Sometimes she wants a frozen thawed normal rat. Sometimes she wants a frozen thawed ASF. Weirdest snake on the planet. She was ready to go. We paired her with our Enchi Asphalt Hepide male. It was banana. It's a banana. So the weird thing about Phantom Pies, and I don't know if this has changed since, but when we first got her, not a lot of them had been posted online. And when you see this girl in person, and sometimes in pictures too, the white on her body has this really weird green hue to it. So I'm really excited to see what happens when you start mixing in other genes, especially like banana. How that will kind of play together. So that's kind of what I'm the most excited about.
We decided to switch to the Enchi Asphalt Hepide, but it was too late. Remember, we were watching her, and she had already been locked by him a couple times. We didn't want to take the chance.
Yeah. So that's something
you don't want to hit an Enchi Yellow Belly Pie and be like, "Is this Enchi Yellow Belly or Enchi Asphalt?" Fuck. Yeah. But I honestly think a banana Enchi ODYB Pie, or no, sorry, that's what our male is. A banana Phantom ODYB Pie will be insane.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be really cool. I can see Phantom being the next cool like big gene in Pied if it works the way I think it's going to.
You know what? There's a lot of bell genes that are kind of finally getting notoriety in Pied, so it'll be cool to see in the next couple of years where things go. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like special, and just like Phantom, I think Mystic will be in there. So anyway, Nick, this was fucking great. I gotta go eat something before I die.
Sounds good.
But thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day and being a little less invisible than normal.
They'll probably start
having
changing.
A clean shirt of ours ready, and
this is, I was going to say, this is if you know me, you know that this is a rarity. I will go to our trade shows not wearing our shirt. So the fact that I pulled this,
Nick will show up to expos just wearing like a plain black shirt.
I planned. He gave me advance notice this time, so I planned it out. I made sure I had one ready to go. That my cats hadn't shredded.
Anyway, so I assume there's nothing more that you kind of want to add. So anyway, we'll just wrap it up here. Nick, thank you so much for coming on, dude. This was fun. We should probably do this more than once every like 25 episodes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You'll probably start seeing more of me now that the collection is sort of condensed and we've got the new facility. And we're probably, once we get everything, we've been talking about this for months, but we've both had a lot going on in our personal life. So once we finally get the new facility, now I have to. Someone's paying me.
Now Nick can't say no.
Yeah.
I fucking love this.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm going to be your Andy Richter.
Now you are financially tied to showing up every once in a while.
Yeah. Shit. Well, as I was saying, I think once we get the new room set up the way we want to, I think you'll be seeing a lot more of me because we'll be doing a lot more kind of sit down content. We also had a couple ideas. I want to
say as of this Saturday, I think we're going to be in a good spot. The room has kind of been in this state of disarray for like 2 months. And we've been kind of like dancing around it to like make everything work. But I think it's finally time we have to make some fucking moves in there and get it ready.
One day we'll sit down and tell the story about trying to get the adult rack across the hall.
No, that story never leaves the lips of me, you, Tazi, and my brother.
Okay, because that was some prime We Are Not Smart Men.
We needed far more alcohol than zero to get that done.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, and then we also have a couple ideas too for some new, I won't say new shows or new content, but that we've been kind of working on that I think we'll probably maybe kick off next year.
So, we might as well touch on it. So we've been talking about doing a couple non-live shows. I think it would be beneficial for our channel. I don't want to expand on that too much, only because we haven't really totally figured out what we want to do with it yet. But we're hoping to have, something that's at least weekly or bi-weekly that isn't live. That you can kind of just watch anytime. But then at the same time, myself, I want to do more psych ward stuff. Friday Night Live is going to be a staple. And Nick is invited every week. He just doesn't want to be here because he doesn't like you guys. Well, now you have to show up. Otherwise, it just looks like I'm right.
I just have poor time management skills and usually have to cram a bunch of schoolwork into Fridays.
No, I really just use this to fucking out you. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
So Friday Night Live is going to be moving forward as it should have been this whole time. Every week, you guys will see an announcement by Monday of guests. And then we're going to focus on doing some psych ward stuff. And you know what? I'm sure Nick will become part of that whole thing at some point because, like, just like myself, you know, Nick deals with a lot as well. But I don't know where I was going with this.
We're talking about the future. And then there's that other one that we've been spitballing. So, like, one thing that we've been talking about is trying to do something that captures more of the, I don't want to say the behind the scenes of what happens at expos and stuff like that and like the big family shows, but sort of some of the bonding time that you kind of get there with other breeders and stuff like that. So there's a couple ideas. There's an idea we've been working on for a while that I think we're getting ready to pull the trigger on. Once
expos really come back, that show is going to be our show, and nobody knows what we're talking about. But that, like, I totally forgot that was a thing. I'm so excited right now. I don't want to say anymore. All right, guys, that's it. That's it. You guys don't get any more because if we talk more, I'm gonna.
We're gonna let the cat. I didn't say anything that I wasn't supposed to this time, so it's a really good time to end it.
Well, fuck. I don't know anything better to end it on. Nick, thank you. Guys, thank you. Appreciate you hanging out right till the end. Don't know why the fuck you did, but peace out. See you guys later. Good night.